everybody's Reaper One here. Topic of this video is security management. In this video I'm going to touch on qualifications and the do's and the don'ts of being a security manager. 14 years in the game, I've come across a lot of different things that will help you out in your career being a security manager. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about qualifications. In my opinion, you need to have at least 1 year of security experience as an officer or guard, whatever you prefer, before you can think about getting into security management. I mean, that's just, to me, is just an industry standard, should be an industry standard. Throughout that whole time, during that first year, you need to be getting all the permits you can get, do all the training you possibly can get. You need to make sure that as a manager, you can do everything that the officers can do. You can cover any post that the officers can do. So qualifications means that you go through, you get your firearms permit, you get your baton permit, you get your OC permit, your taser, you take other elective courses, CPR, first aid, including AED. You take a whole bunch of different courses to make sure that you're the best of the best when it comes to the frontline staff. These guys are going to depend on you when it comes time to make decisions. They're going to be calling on you when it comes time to it. And it's not just your entry-level guys. It's not going to just be the officers, but upper management and even ownership of the company. They're going to be looking at you. Qualifications, to me, you need to have 1 year security experience. Throughout that 1 year, you need to get all the training that you can possibly get, work all the posts for that company that you possibly could work. Don't turn down any assignments, get your experience in. And then once that's up and you meet the bare minimum qualifications for security management, actually, no, scratch that. You should meet and exceed the bare minimum for a security management position. So again, qualifications means you have practical experience, you have training, and you're good to go. Now, I know there's companies out here who hire guys that have degrees in criminal justice and other things that are similar along the lines of security and law enforcement and everything else like that. And let me tell you right now, in my professional opinion, that does not make you ready to be a security manager. Why? Because you have no practical experience. How are you supposed to lead a team to do a job or to work an event or whatever that case may be, and you have no experience? You know, I'm not saying that the knowledge that you gain from going to college is not vital. It is, but at the same time, you need to have practical experience. So if you've got a 4-year degree, cool. You got a 6-year degree, cool. But you know what? You need to go and get all the same licenses as your frontline guys before you apply to be a security manager. That, again, that's just my professional opinion.
Let's talk about the do's as far as being a security manager. The key to being a successful security manager, a lot of it has to do with keeping your word of mouth. If you tell your staff or a client or even your boss that you're going to do something, it's best for you to do it, because the minute you lose that credibility, it's gone. It's out the window. No one's ever going to believe you again. Your staff's going to lose faith in you and everything else. So to be a good leader, you must lead by example. And what do I say? And what do I mean when I say lead by example? Well, let's look at it like this. If you're going out to site check your staff to make sure they're in a proper uniform, to make sure that they're following the post orders, to make sure they're not violating any of the client's rules and regulations or whatnot, you need to make sure that you're not either. You need to make sure that your uniform is top notch. Again, you're leading by example. So if you're going to lead by example with being a security manager, you need to make sure that the minute you walk out your front door, that you look the way that you would expect your staff to look. You are conducting yourself in the way you would expect your staff to conduct themselves. And you're conducting yourself in the way that your manager, your boss, your supervisor, upper management, or even the owner of the company is expecting you to conduct yourself. That is vitally, vitally important. It's very important for you to lead by example. You want to be fair. You want to be fair. I know if you've been with the same security company for a year or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, however long it's been, you're going to make some friends in the front lines and in the rankings, and that's fine. That's great. But at the same time, you got to be fair. You got to show proper judgment. You can't show favoritism to one guy because he's your friend and turn around and let him get away with stuff. Really, that should be in the don't clip. But you know, still, you gotta make sure that you treat everybody the same. Treat everybody the same. Now, here's the other thing. People don't like being treated like numbers. So what you want to do is you want to get out and you want to meet your staff. Meet the people who are working for you. Meet the people who you're scheduling. Meet the people who are going to be calling on you. So then that way when you're calling them and they're calling you, you guys are on a first name basis. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Keep it simple. Make sure your staff knows you. Make sure your staff knows what you expect. And make sure that you know what your staff expects of you. It's a two-way street. It's not just one way. You know, it's not just one way. It's two ways. It's a two-way road when it comes to being a security manager. You're working with people, not machines, okay? So you get out there and meet with your people. When you go out there to site check, do all the formality stuff, and then, take the time if you have it, because being a security manager is a busy job. It's busy. You're gonna be busy. But if you have the time, take the time to sit there. Hey, shoot the shit with your people. Shoot the shit with them. Share a couple jokes, laugh, clown around a little bit, to a point. Okay, you got to keep that professionalism. But take that time to personalize your time with them, okay? Because they'll have more respect for you in the long run. Make sure you keep yourself available as well. Being a security manager means that you're on call 24/7. Make sure you keep your phone on. Make sure you keep that volume up, because being a good security manager means that your people need to be able to get a hold of you at any given time. All right? So keep that in mind. Be fair with the scheduling, everything else like that, and you should be good to go. Keep the morale of your staff up by any and all means necessary. That's very important. All right. So the do's: professionalism, be fair, and be personable with your staff, and you should be good. Let's talk about the don'ts in security management. Again, I touched on this earlier where I had said that you need to make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. It's very important for you to do that. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're going to lose credibility. And being in security management, credibility means everything. People need to be able to trust you, trust the word that's coming out of your mouth, and need to know that you're going to get the job done. People are going to be depending on you, from your entry-level staff to upper management to even the owner of the company. There's a lot of people that are depending on you. Now, just because you have successfully made it into security management does not mean now all of a sudden you're better than everybody else. Does not mean that now all of a sudden your shit don't stink. That's not the case. Okay, that's not the case. Don't become one of those douchebag asshole, managers out here who all of a sudden think that they just the best thing since sliced bread. No. Because what's going to happen is your staff, they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you altogether. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to work for you. You're going to find yourself spending more time out in the field working on the posts, because people are just not going to want to work for you at all. Point blank, period, done. The other thing is don't show favoritism to any specific person or any specific group of people. Again, that's going to be something that is going to come back to bite you in the ass. Treat everybody equally the same. Don't show any kind of favoritism. That's with scheduling, whether it's what shifts that you're scheduling, whether it's the amount of hours that are being scheduled, everything like that. Don't show favoritism. Don't do that. The other thing that I have seen over time, and I've actually have had a couple of different security officers from all over the U.S. actually come to me and say that, they're quitting jobs because they ask for time off for whatever reason, and instead of their security manager doing what they can to work with them to give them that time off, instead they give them a hard time. Don't be that guy either. Okay, don't be that guy. Work with your staff. If a guy needs time off for whatever reason and you're able to give him that time off, then go ahead and give him that time off. Keep the morale of your staff up. But don't turn around and punish the guy because he asked for time off and say, okay, yeah, well, I'll give you the 2 days you requested off plus another 2 or 3. That's bullshit. Don't do that. Okay, I can tell you right now, people do not like that. Okay, they will not respond well to that. And the only thing you're gonna do is, like I said, cause your staff not to want to work for you. You could possibly even lose your position. Okay, don't be an asshole because of the fact that you've made it. The insignias on your sleeves, on your collar, okay, all it means is that you got a tad bit more responsibility on your shoulders. Okay, that's all it means. It does not mean that you can do whatever, whenever, however you want, and then expect folks to just take it and not have anything to say about it. It does not work that way. It will never work that way. And as long as you're working with people, they will always be something that will come up. That is the reason why I tell you, if you need 4 people, hire 6. Okay? Hire 6 just for that reason. So don't do that. Don't be an asshole. Don't show favoritism. And don't act like you know everything, because you don't. Okay? You don't. Now, also, don't be the guy who's afraid to ask for help. If you're overwhelmed with the amount of work that you have and your workload is just crazy and you can't get everything done within a reasonable amount of time, don't be the guy who's got such a big head that's, too much of a man to ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. Whether it's other people in your management team, or even if it's, an officer who you see excels in a certain topic or subject or whatever the case may be, ask him for help. If you need the help, get the help. Don't just sit there and let shit fall wayside, okay? Don't fuck shit up just because of the fact that you're too scared to ask for help, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that at all. There's a lot of things that could kill your career. And the security manager, you can kill your career. Now, the other thing is don't get upset when your phone is going off constantly. As a security manager, your phone is going to go off constantly. You're going to be getting calls all the time. It's your job. As long as you have officers out in the field, as long as you have clients out there who are expecting you to perform to a certain level, you're going to be busy. Don't get upset because your phone is going off. Don't get upset when you're not getting a full night of sleep. Don't get upset when you got to stop whatever you're doing in your personal time to put on a uniform and go stand a post or whatever the case may be. It's part of your job. It's your job to do these things. So, again, keep a level head. Don't be an asshole. And you should be good. Listen to your frontline staff. Don't be a ghost out there when it comes to the posts and the officers. Get out there, spend time with them, get to know them. It's the best thing you could possibly do. Those are the standard don'ts as far as this goes. Of course, there's several other things. It's common sense that you just should not do. But if I have to literally go down and list off all of the do nots, you probably shouldn't be a security manager. So, again, keep a level head. Don't be a dumbass. When it comes to dealing with your clients, you need to make sure that you keep an open line of communication with your clients, whether they are your current clients, whether they are prospective clients, whatever the case may be. You need to keep an open line of communication. Something as simple as email, text messages, phone calls. Me personally, I like texting and email better because you have documentation of the conversation versus phone calls. And you say, oh, well, I didn't say that, unless you record your phone calls. If you record your phone calls, well, you might be all right. But if you don't, well, it's going to turn into a he say, she say bullshit. All right. When it comes to your clients, keep that open line of communication. Now, keep in mind, every client, most clients, they think they know everything about security, okay? They're going to come to you and they're going to say, I want XYZ services. I want it done this way. If a person does this, does that, I want them arrested, okay? Understand that you should know, especially as a security manager, because officers themselves should know this. You know what you can and cannot do. Don't let your clients bait you into doing something that's illegal just so you can appease them. Now, I'm not saying, go out there and just do whatever and don't appease your clients. Well, because you're going to find yourself jobless if that's the case. But at the same time, you got to know when to draw the line. Okay, you got to know when to draw the line. You got to look at what it is of what they want and then put it into practical use. Okay, that's why it's important to keep an open line of communication. Now, one thing I did with my clients all the time is I would email them, I would shoot them text messages, and every now and again I just pop up in their offices during business hours and just to say hello and, you know, see how everything is going. Don't be the kind of manager to sit there and say, well, because I didn't hear anything from them or because I haven't heard anything from them, then I'm assuming that everything is okay. That is not the case. Shit can be brewing and you don't realize it's brewing because they haven't said anything. Well, this whole time you're sitting there thinking that everything is fine, they could be sitting there looking for another security company. Then what? By the time you hear something from them, they've already have found, locked down, and signed a contract with the new security company. So then you don't even have the opportunity to go in and correct whatever issue is going on. That's why it's important to site check your people. Okay, it's very important to go out and site check. Okay, a lot of managers, supervisors, patrol supervisors, whatever they are, whatever the title is, you know, a lot of them do half-ass site checks, or they ghost site checks. They just show up and sign off on the officer's report so the client sees that you were there. Well, that's all well and dandy and all, but if you're not actually doing legitimate site checks, I can guarantee you this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose your accounts, because then your officers are going to get, they're going to get comfortable out there. They're going to get comfortable and know, like, hey, well, supervisory and management, you know, they don't come out, or they only come out at this time. They don't come out, you know, at this time. You know, pop up on your graveyard guys, you know, even if it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, pop up on your crew, see what they're up to, see what they're doing, shoot the shit with them, make sure that they are awake, attentive, and are doing their rounds. You know, a lot of people are going to hate on me for what I'm going to say, but, you know, you got these different software systems out there that require the officers to scan, like, you know, those old D-Tex clocks where they had to punch the little button every time they turn a corner. You know, the officers may hate it, but at the same time, you got to look at things from a management perspective. And that management perspective is this. Your client cannot say that your guards or your officers or whatever were not on post. Why? Because they were walking around hitting different scan points. Okay? Now, why is this important? Well, this is accountability. This shows that your officers were where they were, when they said they were there. Okay? It's all accountability. That's what it is. This keeps the client, when it comes time to pay the bill, because I've been through this before, where it comes time to pay the bill, and what does the client say? Like, oh, well, you know, I don't really think that the guard was here at this time. Bullshit. By having them do this clock deal, scan these different codes and everything else while they're walking around, puts all that shit to rest. They cannot question whether or not they received the services that they signed a contract for. Okay, they can't. Because it's there. There's the proof. There's the evidence. What else do you need? Okay? That's what it is. It is important to do that. Now, if you have officers working for you who refuse to do that, well, then you need to replace those officers. Plain and simple. You got to look at what's best not only for the officers, but what's best for the company. Okay? You got to look at it in both ways. Not only do you have to appease the client, you have to appease your boss or bosses and still keep a level ground and somewhat of an appeasement with your field officers at the same time. As a security manager, you got a tough ass job to do. You are like in the middle of everything. Because when a guard comes to you because they didn't get the right amount on their paycheck, they're going to come to you for that. Or when they get their schedule and they don't like the hours that they have, or they get their schedule, oh, I can't work this day. I forgot to tell you that I have to do such and such on this day. It happens. Now, should they tell you in advance? Yeah, they should tell you in advance. But does that always happen? Hell no. I can't tell you how many times I had to last minute come up with some fucking super crazy schedule just to make things work. But you know what? When you do stuff like that, the officers appreciate it. And you know what? Later on down the line, now they owe you one. So now when you have the next person who calls off or has some, emergency or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? You got a guy that owes you one. You can cover that post a lot easier. Now let me tell you guys about social media, okay? Let me tell you. Everybody, just about everybody and their mama's on some kind of social media platform. As a security manager, I suggest that you have a profile on every last social media platform that's out there, at least all the major ones that are being used. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of those things. Now, why do I say that? Because you will be surprised what you will find on these social media platforms, especially when you got guys that are calling off for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? When you do your background checks, look into it to see if they have social media. Now, you may or may not be able to see exactly what's on their profiles, but still, you may get lucky. Now, in my sense, my officers, they all love to add me to their Facebook accounts. They would send me friend requests. And me, I ain't a dumb motherfucker. I'm going to go ahead and accept those invites. Why? Because now I have an unrestricted access to your fucking Facebook account. So when you're calling off telling me that you're fucking sick or you can't come to work because you have some fucking family emergency that is so important, something that's so crazy that happened where you're calling me an hour before your shift starts to tell me that you can't make it, and then I turn around and see you posting, talking about you at the club, talking about you're on your way to Vegas or some shit like that, I know what I'm gonna do with you. And trust and believe, you think like, whoa, people are that stupid? Fuck yeah, they're that stupid. Yeah, they do shit like that. But you would have never known if you weren't on their shit. Now, some people are smart enough not to do that, but I'm going to tell you, the bulk of the herd are not. Common sense isn't common. I'm going to tell you, learn that phrase, because I can tell you right now, that shit you will see on a constant basis all the time. All the time. Okay, so just be prepared for that. Now, keep a level head when you find it, because you will find it. And you're going through and you're looking and you see, I have found officers that have worked for the company that I was the operations manager of, in which I catch them in uniform throwing up gang signs on their Facebook profile. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, make good contacts with law enforcement as well. You know what I'm saying? Make good contacts with law enforcement. That way they know, like, hey, you know, my name is so-and-so. I work for such and such security company. We have a post over here on such and such a block. And we have officers there from this time to that time. If you have a business card, give them a couple business cards. You know? And if you're doing a great job, they'll promote your company. Trust and believe. When I had my company in San Diego, they promoted the shit out of my company. Every shithole, every fucked up place in the most worst goddamn neighborhoods in San Diego, please believe. Excuse me, they have gone to those managers and said, hey, you need security. Unofficially, we're giving you this guy's card. Yeah. Network with law enforcement. Officially, they cannot promote any specific business, but that doesn't mean they can't do it unofficially. Okay? That doesn't mean they can't do it unofficially. There's a couple apps that you can download that you should have your officers download. One major one is Life 360. Again, that's Life 360. It is a family locator app. Okay, and it's got so many different features that you can use for officer safety. There's a panic button in there. And also you can set up geofences, so when officers leave or arrive on a post, you'll get notified. The app initially is free to use. If you want to set up geofences on, I believe, more than 3 different locations, there's a subscription you'd have to purchase. It's not that expensive. It's not that expensive. For peace of mind, you can easily get your owner to purchase that. Okay? Peace of mind, he'll do it. Again, that's just more documentation to prove that the officers were where they said they were. There's so many different topics and things that I can cover with security management. there's just so many things. This video be fucking 80 minutes long. The key to being a good manager is listening to your staff, listening to your employees, listening to the people that are above you, making good sound judgments, and just being an all-around fair person. Be knowledgeable. Be as knowledgeable as you can. Take extra classes, seminars. I went to a lot of different seminars and got knowledge there. And you know, the one thing I can tell you, which I know I've probably said about 4 or 5 times in this video already, the one thing I can tell you is that, and all those seminars I've gone to for management, you know, maybe not specifically security management, but just management in general, you know, the one thing that they all said in common: do what you say you're gonna do. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. If you got more questions regarding this topic, shoot me a direct line. You can comment below here on YouTube. You can catch me on Facebook. You guys all know where to find me. If you have any questions at all, a specific section of management that you would like me to go over more deeply, just let me know. And if I have the information, I'll be more than happy to make another video, get you guys all set up, and get you on the path to a great career as a security manager. You can make a shitload of money in that position. You can set yourself up good with benefits and everything else. You just got to know what you're doing. That's the one thing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video so I can get it uploaded and get it out to you guys. It's already a couple days late. I apologize for that. I've had a lot going on. But as always, you guys stay safe. This is Reaper 1. I'll catch you on the next video.